Leadership delivery. Manifestos, like plan of actions, are for business profitability. As Nigeria prepares for the 2023 election, there is a need to observe and possibly learn from ongoing elections and political events in other countries around the world. For instance, over the last week, the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was appointed following the resignation of Elizabeth Truss. A midterm election preparation in the United States for the US Senate and House of Representatives is currently ongoing. Denmark's Social Democratic Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, announced her plans to resign following economic crisis, and considering the election results, Frederiksen is likely to again receive the mandate to form a new government. Likely re-election of Benjamin Netanyahu as Israel's prime minister. The major lessons from these are: they are peaceful, seamless, and people-based electoral processes. But more important is the ability to engage the masses on related issues. The manifestos should not just make promises, but show clearly action plan with timelines and processes. In the business or corporate world, business processes and activities are executed with reference to the vision and profitability in mind. If this idea is effectively applied by political candidates during campaigns, the masses would duly be informed and be engaged properly. The elements of an effective action plan include setting objectives. Political candidates should state clearly what their solutions are to related issues, assessing the objectives, show why solutions are suitable for extant issues of socio-economic concern, identifying actions required to meet the objectives, state clearly the how strategies in executing the strategies, working out how to evaluate the activities, that is, get key performance indexes, agreeing on a time frame for action, show duration of execution, identifying resources like human resources, financial and technical resources, finalizing the plan and evaluating the results. You should give room for feedback and suggestions. Now let me engage my fellow advocates here on this program on the performance thus far of political candidates with respect to their presentation of manifestos and their intentions. Let me start with the lady here.
At this point, I would cede the floor to Victor and let him talk, because he hasn't said anything so far.
Okay, I have not had chance to look at, the manifestos, but I know that the one from Peter Obi has really been gaining quite a lot of traction, and most recently Bat also had released his, and I saw something was trending on Twitter yesterday, where Ian was talking about the technology aspect of what the BAT team wants to do in the forthcoming government. But it's not even really about going through all the manifestos. Nigerians, as it were, has been in a long consistent pattern of abusive relationship, where somebody comes and then spanks you, and then after 4 years they tell you sorry, and then they spank you again. After 4 years they come and say, oh, I'm so sorry, and they do that for about 16 years, 20 years, so, and it just keeps going. It's a cycle. And we are now in the place of what I call learned helplessness. And that is where, you get used to being beaten, you get used to being defeated, and then you get used to failure, and then you believe that failure is the order of the day. So someone comes with some lofty 7-point agenda. Nobody wants to believe that. Nobody wants to, because it's just some lofty things on paper. And what I want to advocate, right, is all the presidential candidates, right, should pretty much, that's the first level assessment for me. You should be able to articulate the vision. The idea with sending people, I'm not throwing shades at anybody. I'm just saying the idea with sending people to go represent you. We should profile these guys, come do a town hall. I attended one town hall sometimes when Fashola was going to get into power the second time in Lagos. that town hall was really open. Fashola was answering a lot of questions. We were throwing, okay, what are you going to do? And he was really, so we should start engaging at that level first. But the idea of blueprints, manifestos, I mean, I could literally take the job of delivering a 20-page deck on a fantastic manifesto on transforming Nigeria. But does that really transform Nigeria? So let's move beyond all these decks and manifestos to pretty much engaging and building back that trust that had been lost. And that's why I see there's a lot of work, because the youths are beginning to wake up to realize that enough is enough.
Well, the problem is not delivering the manifesto. The problem is the content of the manifesto. I think if you ask me, Atiku started his own first. He was the first person to actually release that pamphlet or so, what he published about his vision for Nigeria or something. I'm trying to remember the exact title of that page. And then follow after that, they have been clamoring, Peter Obi, when are you going to release yours? He has said a lot of things about some of the things he wants to do, but not in details. We are waiting for the Labour Party to actually release theirs. Yeah. But I think, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday, APC released theirs. And I think they did quite a good job. Yeah, because we are not endorsing anybody here. We are not following trend here. Now, they were able to explain what they want to do, even though most people think that the how is missing.
Exactly, that's what I was
so
going to tell you.
Even though they tried in explaining this thing, but the how, that's what we're talking about. How, and it's not just APC. Same with PDP.
That's what I was
and even same with Labour Party.
That's what I was going to get to. That was the part I saw.
How are you going to achieve?
Yeah,
what they're going to achieve.
The how to. That was the part that really, for me, the how to was, the thought I said that it's not about just the manifestos, but now it's about how do you want to actually carry out whatever strategy you put. Like Victor said, anyone can come to put together even amazing content of a manifesto, put together a good manifesto, but you hit the nail on the head by that simple question. Can you actually articulate how? And your how to, because when you go to the how to of implementing a strategy, it starts to show thinking, and then it starts to plug holes in whatever you're saying if it's not really going to be valid. And people can actually begin to reason that this thing they're saying, does it make sense? And so I think that how to is one part that I'm going to have to. I would not want to talk about any party's manifesto or not, but I would like to talk about the fact that the speaking, that leadership delivery that you have said, that manifestos are like plans of action for business profitability. That is what we need from any manifesto coming from any political party or any candidate at this point in time. What exactly are you going to do and how are you going to do it? Let us really see we are waking up and we're not going to be spanked and haven't learned helplessness going anymore.
Before Hussein, before you come in, thank you, Eni, for that. So when you look at this, and because at the end of the day, if I were to be a presiding, or if I were to speak for Nigerians, and I believe I'm speaking for the young people, the truth is we should throw away those papers. They're not important. Let's engage in a symposium conversation. Let's talk about. You said you're going to commercialize the oil economy. That's a big word. What are you going to do? Tell us. The first 100 days in office, what are you going to do? How are you going to, like you said, how are you going to go about it? So there's just a lot of big ambiguous words, fine, whatever stuff, but we don't really, these guys, they can't articulate what they've written down. And it's some people have been paid to write those fancy words, and they can't articulate it.
Well, I get your point, Victor, but the papers are still important.
It's important.
Very, very important.
So let's hear from you.
The reality on ground is, when it comes to Nigerian election, it's all about numbers. And when it comes to people who deliver the numbers, they don't know anything about these manifestos.
You think so?
Yes.
Okay.
The artisans, as an artisan or a market woman, they say they release manifesto. What are they saying that manifesto?
That's true.
They don't know.
They don't know what a manifesto is. They can't explain
it. It's the fault of the political parties for not communicating.
So go and engage the woman that fries corn.
They have a thought.
There's a woman that fries corn just on PlusTV here. It's simple. Let's engage her. They don't know what you're saying.
No, I don't think I agree with you, gentlemen. You know why I said I don't agree with you, gentlemen?
Let's hear
you. See, now, what is happening, I believe, is communication is in various forms. So for you people that want to read paper, They help you put the manifesto in paper or in verbal in words. But for the people that you feel do not know what's in manifesto, they may not tell you that it is our manifesto, but the communication and the intent of whatever it is that they want to do is being passed across.
So what we are saying.
Are you actually the people that feel will deliver the votes for them?
Enitan, let me say.
That's another thing.
Well,
let me tell you from the perspective in which I'm talking from, right?
Okay.
If I begin to talk quietly to Victor's ear, say what I said to Victor passed it to Elijah, and Elijah passed. By the time it gets to you, it's not the direct information I told Victor. Do you understand? So you are not communicating. So what I'm saying is the fancy manifestos that we are having, it's good. It's not as if it's not good. But in reality, the majority who deliver the dividend of the electionary vote and what have you, they don't know to what extent what these people actually have. You understand? So they will coin the information to suit them. The extent that they will get is like
it's just 5K. 5K.
You don't understand. So what we are saying now is this. What we are saying now is this on this issue of manifesto, and we should begin to look into the key factors. The elite, right? I can say a lot of us don't vote on the day of the election. We should begin to participate beyond bantering on social media. That's number one. We should also, at the same time, begin to see manifestos that speak the common language that is direct, beyond big grammars inside book. Even when you have those articulated inside the book, when you are communicating it, communicate it in a direct language that though is not a third party them say. Just like they say Eminokon. Eminokon is a direct language. Everybody is using that word Eminokon because it's a direct language. It resonates with everybody, even on the streets, right? Can we have a manifesto in that kind of manner that resonates with every level of people? You understand? Then we are communicating, then we are getting somewhere. But I don't see that happening. I can see Peter Obi on one of the interview, he was saying, they say, where's your manifesto? They say, you can see it in Anambra. Where is your education? You can see. That is not what we want. You give statistic of where something that is happening in Korea, something that is happening. It's a different ball game.
I think that applies to all of them.
I can tell you, I understand. I can tell you that when you look at financial inclusion game in Kenya, for example, M-Pesa model, it's not applicable in Nigeria because there are a lot of things that made M-Pesa work perfectly in Kenya, which you don't have here. So we have to use our home model to make things work in our own way, not exploiting or...
But it's not wrong to also look at what other people are doing and see how to learn and also adopt them or try to rejig it and adopt it.
Yes, so the problem we are actually different. Our tolerance level is different. The way the way you do a law that today they can hike the price of fuel, Nigerians will adjust. They can hike the cost of transportation, Nigerians will adjust. There, they won't. So there are a lot of things.
All right, thank you very much for your input, my fellow advocates. Right, it's quite a heated
very heated one, and we are keeping quiet about it because if we go on, we're not. This place is going to go up very soon. So let's just keep it calm.
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much for your input, ladies and gentlemen. In conclusion, everybody has their manifesto. Let them talk their language, come to the people, and the people will decide. In a democracy, no party or candidate wins or loses. If you, the people, choose a wrong man or a woman, you lose. If you choose the right one, you win. That's from Prakash Raj. He's an Indian actor, television presenter, and a politician. Victor Onyekere is next after the break. Just stay with us.